Marco Rubio, Senator from Florida, joins us now at the center of this immigration debate, the Immigration Legislation. Senator, thanks very much.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks for having me.
You betcha. It's a quick segment, so I'm going to be quick. A lot of confusion about the bill and where it is and what it says and where you stand, and I must say some dismay out there on the whole question of legalization first, border security second, simultaneous or the other way around. People are confused, want to know where you stand on this.
Well, first of all, I believe that the problems that we have with immigration is a very serious problem in our country. We have a broken legal immigration system. I always say this, even if we didn't have a single illegal immigrant, we'd still have to do immigration reform because the legal immigration system we have is antiquated and broken. We don't have real ways to enforce our immigration laws. The border in certain sectors is not fully secure. We have no way of tracking people that overstay visas. We have no way of confirming people's eligibility to work when they get hired. There's no E-Verify. And then topping it all off, due to mistakes that were made when I was in ninth grade, by the way, there are 11 million human beings living in the United States. Most of them, we have no idea who they are. They've been here longer than a decade. They're having children that are U.S. citizens. They live among us. They're probably going to be here for the rest of their lives. And leaving that in place is de facto amnesty. So my goal here is not politics. I don't believe this is the salvation nor the doom of the Republican Party. This is an issue that confronts our country, and it has to be solved because it's bad for America. That's why I'm involved in the issue. Now, you mentioned legalization versus. I think there's confusion. Permanent residency in the United States, a green card. That's what permanent residency is. In this bill, that does not happen until there's an E-Verify system that is fully implemented, until there's an entry-exit system that's fully implemented, and until there's a border security plan that is fully implemented. And what I'm asking for in this bill is that we go one step further, and we say that border security plan that has to be fully implemented before the green card is available, that border security plan should not be left to the Department of Homeland Security. Let's design it. Let's work with the Border Patrol. Let's put it in the bill, the specifics in the bill, so that we know exactly what has to happen on the border so that we can be sure that it will work. The other part that people are talking about is a temporary work permit, basically. You can't get any public benefits. You can't get Obamacare or food stamps. The only thing you can do is you can work and you can pay taxes. And in order to get that, the illegal immigrant is going to have to undergo background check. They're going to have to pay a fine. They're going to have to start paying taxes. And this thing is temporary. It expires in 6 years. They've got to come back and renew it again and go through the same conditions all over again. But it's not permanent residency. They can never turn that into citizenship.
No, but there is provisional status. And do I have to do all the things you mentioned or the things you just mentioned in order to get provisional status?
Absolutely.
Or do I get that immediately upon the signature of the bill?
Well, first of all, no one gets it immediately because there's a 6-month lag time to create the process. Second, you cannot process and register 11 million people in 1 month or even in 1 year. It's going to take multiple years to get all these folks registered. Third, in order to get that provisional status, again, you have to undergo a national security background check, a criminal background check, you have to pay a fine, you have to start paying taxes, and when you go back and renew it in 6 years, because it expires in 6 years, when you go back to renew it in 6 years, you're going to have to go through all of that again, plus you're going to have to prove that for the previous 6 years you have been working in the United States and you have been paying your taxes, that you've not been a public charge. And under this provisional status, you do not qualify for any federal benefit. You don't qualify for food stamps, no Obamacare, no welfare. That's provisional status.
But you don't even get to I just want to be really clear on this. You don't even get to provisional status unless you go through those steps. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. What has given rise to this confusion, you think? People not understanding
It's a complicated issue. I mean, there's real confusion between, legalization is a term that's thrown around as a blanket. The green card is what people, I think, at least in my opinion, I interact with. The green card is what gets you permanent residency in the United States, and it allows you to one day become a citizen. You don't get that until all these other border provisions and the E-Verify and the entry-exit system have happened, and 10 years have elapsed. So all those things have to happen, and 10 years have to pass by. That's one thing. The legalization part that people keep throwing around is not. It's a temporary permit. It's like a work visa. It allows you to come in the U.S. and work. You're registered. We know who you are. You've been background checked. If you commit a crime or violate any of the conditions of that permit, while you're in that permit, it's revoked, and you're deportable.
If I don't do anything, if I don't file any of the paperwork, does my status change?
You're illegal.
You're illegal, and you stay illegal. Okay.
Well, that's right. I mean, if you don't file the paperwork, and here's what's going to happen. People that can't pass the background check, that's probably what some of them will do. And so we will still have to be able to enforce our lives, which is why E-Verify is so important. Because if you can't find a job in the United States, people are not going to come. That's the magnet.
Are you still seeking amendments in the final legislation? What kind of amendments are you seeking relating to border security specifically? We just have a minute left.
Yeah, and the border security, I don't want to leave the plan that has to be fully implemented before the green card, the permanent residency can happen. I don't want to leave that to DHS. I want us to design it now here in Congress and put it in the bill so people know exactly who it is. And the other requirement I'm seeking, which is unrelated to border, but it's important, is an English language requirement. I want people to be able to prove that they're proficient in English before they can get the green card after the 10 years.
All right. And do you think those amendments will pass?
I think both of them will have to pass, but especially the border one will have to pass in order for this bill to have the support it needs.
Really? Okay. And do you think that you could, if they didn't pass, you would vote for this legislation?
Well, listen, the bottom line is I think this is a good piece of legislation that accomplishes a lot. I think it needs to be improved. When people bring up good ideas about how to improve something, you shouldn't respond with pride of authorship. You should respond with an open mind and change it. And that's what I'm pushing for right now. And if that's not the case here, then we're not serious about getting this problem solved.
Thanks, Senator Rubio. Wish we had more time. Come back longer. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Mike.
Appreciate it.